I believe that movement and mindfulness are two of the foundations of wellness. Thank you for letting me be a part of your wellness journey. Hello, I'm Kelly. I'm joined by my dog, Zoe. And today we've got a great class if you are one of the many people who spends most of your day sitting and or hunched over a computer, maybe reading a book or over patients, etc. So we're going to do a lot of opening up of front body, shoulders, neck, etc. If you have a pair of blocks, it would be handy if you went and grabbed them. And if you have a yoga blanket or a towel or beach towel that you might want to sit on, we might grab that to start. And we'll start seated, maybe like I said, on the blanket or on a block. We'll rest hands in our laps. If it's comfortable, we can close our eyes. We'll take a moment just to settle in and arrive on our mats. So dropping your awareness into your body. Noticing how you showed up today, not judging, just observing. What in your body is feeling especially good? What has maybe felt better than it is today? Maybe just checking in with your headspace. How are your thoughts flowing? Can we try to let them slow and settle here? And then lastly, checking in with your breath. Noticing how it's moving through your body. And then as much as is comfortable, you can work towards lengthening your inhales and your exhales, really slowing your breath down and allowing your inhales to create some of the expansion that we're going to build on today in our torso. So feeling lift through the spine and ribs on inhales and softening anything that might be gripping on exhales. Let's take a few rounds of breath here. Exactly that way. Big, full, expansive inhales. Long, slow, relaxing exhales. Take one more round of breath here. Let's make it the biggest, fullest inhale yet. And longest, slowest exhale yet. And then we'll start adding in a little bit of movement here. You can keep your eyes closed if it's comfortable, or you can blink your eyes open. And from here, we'll drop right ear down to right shoulder. And then we're going to add a little bit of movement with the chin. So on your next exhale, ear will stay where it is, but the chin will lower towards the floor. On the inhale, you'll lift the chin up to the sky, ear still near your shoulder. Again, exhaling, dropping the chin back down. Inhaling to lift the chin. And taking once more, chin lowering. And chin lifting. And then we'll bring the face just to neutral, ear towards that shoulder. We might reach the left fingers a little longer on the mat beside our hip. And then we'll gently roll the head over to second side, so left ear to left shoulder. And then again, dropping chin down towards the ground. Inhaling, chin up to the sky. Exhaling to lower. Inhaling to lift. Once more lowering. Once more lifting. And then bringing the face to neutral, reaching right fingers out by your sides. And then dropping chin to chest. We'll take a few breaths here so you can just wobble the ears from shoulder to shoulder as much as feels good, or if it feels good just to hang with the chin straight down. It's up to you what feels good in your body. A lot of us will have tension in the back of the neck from holding our heads up all day long, often with the head tilted a little farther forward than it should be. And then we'll bring the head back to center. We'll bring it straight up. And then from here, we'll interlace our fingers behind our backs. We'll send those fingers down, and then we'll also lift them away from the hips a bit. So we're getting some openness through the front body. Let's take 3 big full rounds of breath here. And then we'll bring the hands over to the right hip. Try to tuck the right shoulder back a little bit. And then we might just stay here, or we might drop the right ear back towards the right shoulder. Again, we can play around with the tilt of the chin to feel what feels best. Adding in a little bit of shoulder stretch, as we might have also added in that neck stretch. And then we'll bring the head back to center. We'll bring the hands over to the left hip, left elbow and tucking back, right shoulder opening up. Maybe just staying here, working on the shoulder, maybe dropping left ear into left shoulder, and then playing around with what angle feels best on your neck and shoulder here. And then we'll bring the head back to center. We'll release our fingers by our sides. And we are going to come to stand at the front of the mat. We've arrived at the front. We're going to do a little bit of hip flexor opening, sun salutation modifications. So when we're ready, we'll inhale, fingers up to the sky. We'll exhale to fold forward, back rounds, head hangs. Inhaling, halfway lift, flat back. Exhaling, right foot steps back, right knee lowers down, toes untuck. Inhaling, fingers up to the sky. Exhaling, hands framing front, foot stepping back, downward facing dog. We'll pause here, big inhale. Slow exhale. And we'll inhale, right heel to the sky. We'll bend the right knee, stacking right hip on top of left. We'll pause here for a full round of breath, opening up through right hip flexor. And then we'll re-extend the right heel to the sky. And on your exhale, right foot steps between the hands, left knee lowers down. Inhaling, fingers up to the sky. Exhaling, hands framing front foot, back foot stepping forward, forward fold. And then inhaling, halfway lift. And exhaling to refold. Inhaling, fingers to the sky. Exhaling, hands to heart center. I'm pausing here, big inhale. Slow exhale. And inhaling, fingers to the sky. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, left foot stepping back, left knee lowering down. Inhaling, fingers to the sky. Exhaling, hands framing front, foot stepping back, downward facing dog. I'm pausing here, big inhale. Slow exhale. And inhaling, left heel to the sky. Exhaling, bending the knee, stacking the hip. And pausing here, full round of breath. And next inhale, left heel extends. Exhaling, left foot between the hands, right knee lowering down. Inhaling, fingers to the sky. Exhaling, hands framing front foot, back foot stepping forward, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling to refold. Inhaling fingers to the sky. Exhaling hands to heart center. Pausing here, big inhale. Slow exhale. And adding on, we'll inhale fingers to the sky. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhaling halfway lift, flat back. We'll exhale to step back to plank. We'll pause and plank for the inhale. We can lower knees or we can lower straight down. On the exhale, we'll come into Sphinx here. So we'll have elbows under the shoulders, toes reaching long. We'll pull the forearms in towards the chest, a curl. The chest gaze will lift. We're pressing through the forearms to get a little extra lift through the front body, a little extra openness through front body. And then lowering torso down, planting palms, tucking toes, pushing up and back, and downward facing dog. We'll take 3 big full rounds of breath here. If we need to release extra tension, we can always exhale through the mouth with a big sigh. And then on our next inhale, we'll reach right heel up to the sky. We'll exhale, bending the knee, stacking right hip on top of left. And inhaling, re-extending the right heel. Exhaling, right foot in between the hands, left knee lowering down. Inhaling, fingers up to the sky, low lunge, pausing here this time, pressing a little more through the left back foot. Trying to reach your hip pointers a little more up towards the sky to get a little more into the left hip flexor, quad, etc. And then we're going to do a little bit of front body opening by interlacing our fingers behind our backs, like we did seated, extending those arms back and down. Couple breaths here. And then we'll re-extend the fingers to the sky. And then we'll fold forward over this front leg, straightening the front knee. We'll try to tuck a right outer hip back, maybe even bring your right thumb into the hip crease and encouraging it back. Spine will extend straight forward. We'll press the right heel into the mat and gently drag it towards the right hip. So we've got some activation in that right hamstring here as well. A little half monkey pose, half splits. And then we'll re-soften this front knee. We'll walk the right foot out to the edge of the mat. Your toes might even spin off the side a little bit, coming in to lizard pose. We're going to have an active lizard pose here. So we're going to come up onto our fingertips, and we're even going to tuck our back toes under to lift the leg. So back leg is strong, fingers are pressing. You got engagement in both legs. Feeling that hip flexor stretching while also being engaged a little bit of functional range of motion building here. And then we'll plant our palms. We'll step the right foot back so we are in plank. And then we'll lower all the way down to the ground. We're going to come into a pec stretch. I'm going to demo sitting up so you can see what you are still lying down. We're going to bring the right arm out to the side like a goalpost arm. Your right arm is not going to change in any way. Here it's going to stay goalpost-y. Your left hand will plant under your left shoulder. We're going to use that left hand to gently spin the left shoulder, moving towards stacking on top of the right shoulder. It probably won't perfectly stack, totally fine. Move what's best for your body. Left leg could stay stacked on top of right. It could plant behind you. You could bend your knees if that feels more stable. You've got options here. While we're here, we're going to gently press the right palm into the ground or your mat. So you've got a little bit of activation while we're stretching through the right pec. And then from here, we're going to gently roll the torso back onto the mat. We'll replant right palm under right shoulder. We'll tuck our toes under. We'll push up and back to downward facing dog. You might take a moment to check in one shoulder versus the other after doing the big pec opener on the right side. Do we notice anything different in our down dog? And then when we're ready for our second side, we'll inhale left heel to the sky. We'll exhale to bend the knee, stacking left hip on top of right. Inhaling to re-extend. Exhaling, left foot steps in between the hands, right knee lowers down. Inhaling, fingers to the sky. Pressing through right foot, lifting hip pointers up towards the sky. Fingers reaching, chest curling. And then adding our chest stretch here. We're going to interlace fingers, our second favorite way, the awkward way. Fingers move down and back. And then re-extending fingers up to the sky. And then folding over the front leg as we straighten the front leg. That left heel will slide forward a little bit. And then again, we might take the left thumb and gently encourage that left hip to slide back. And then gently pressing left heel into your mat, trying to drag it towards the hip. So we've got some activation in the back of the leg. And then we'll re-bend the front knee. We'll walk the foot out to the side. Toes might even spill off your mat. We'll tuck right toes under to pop that back leg up. We're pressing through fingertips. That back leg is firing up. We're pressing through left heel. We've got a really active lizard here. And then we'll replant our palms. We'll step left foot back. We'll lower straight down. We'll bring that left arm out to our goalpost arm now. Right hand will come under the right shoulder. We'll press into the right hand to stack right shoulder on top of left or moving in that direction. Again, right leg could stay stacked on top of left. It might step behind us. We might bend the knees for more stability. And then wherever we're at, we're going to press through that left palm to get some activation into the side that we are stretching. And then we'll roll the torso back down onto the mat. We'll plant the left palm under left shoulder, tucking toes under, pushing up and back, downward facing dog. We're going to do one more round of standing poses. We're going to take things up off the ground, and then we'll add on a little bit as well. So when we're ready, we'll inhale right heel to the sky, bending right knee, stacking right hip on top of left. Re-extending the right foot, and then stepping right foot between the hands. Okay, so that back knee will stay lifted. We'll inhale, fingers to the sky, so crescent warrior. We'll soften the back knee a little. We'll press through the left toes. We'll lift hip points up to the sky, just like we did in our low lunge. We're gonna add a different arm variation to get into our T-spine a little bit. We'll add on eagle arms. So we'll have the right arm on top of the left, and then we'll extend elbows forward and up, still trying to sink into our crescent lunge as well. We'll extend fingers to the sky. We'll straighten through the front leg. We'll reach our fingers straight forward, folding over that front leg. This is where blocks might come in handy if the ground is far away. And then again, we might take the right thumb, sliding it into the right hip flexor and gently encouraging that right outer hip back as we extend over the right leg. And then we'll soften through the front knee. We'll walk the foot out to the edge of the mat. This time we are going to lower the knee down for our lizard. We got lots of options. We can stay up on our fingers. We could come onto forearms on the block. We could come onto forearms on the ground. Choose which option is best for your body. So getting openness through right hip, left hip, gentle sensations, nothing screaming at you. And then we'll come back up. We'll slide our block out of the way. We'll plant our palms. We're going to slide on the right knee to the right wrist here. Left toes will untuck. So finding our pigeon, pressing through fingertips, lifting torso, lifting the gaze. And then gently folding forward over that front leg. And we'll rest on stacked hands, stacked fists, or maybe a block. From here, we'll plant into the palms. We're going to slide over onto that right hip to swing the left leg around. We'll turn our torso to face that left foot, and that will be spilling off of your mat. We'll inhale, fingers to the sky. We'll exhale to fold over that left leg. And then we'll walk our hands in to come up. We're going to plant our right hand behind us, behind the right hip. We'll come up onto that right shin. Left fingers will reach to the sky. Hips lift. Another nice front body opener. Pausing here. A few rounds of breath. And then gently lowering the hips. We'll slide the left foot back, coming back through pigeon, tucking toes under, and then pushing up and back, downward facing dog. We'll take a couple rounds of breath here. We can pedal out the legs if it feels good. And then we'll take second side. So inhaling left heel to the sky. Exhaling, bending the knee, stacking left hip on top of right. Re-extending the left foot. And then stepping left foot between the hands. Right knee will stay lifted. Inhaling, fingers to the sky. Softening back knee, pressing through the right foot. Hip pointers lifting up. And then we'll add on eagle arms. Left arm will be on top of right this time. Elbows moving forward and up. And then unraveling our hands, extending through the front leg, fingers reaching straight forward, maybe finding those blocks. Maybe taking the left thumb into the left hip crease and encouraging it back a little bit more. Finding length through the spine as we're lengthening through left hamstring. And then we'll soften through the front knee. We'll walk the left foot out to the edge of the mat. Right knee will lower down, toes untuck. Lizard pose could be on fingertips, could be on forearms on the mat or on your block. Choose your best option today. And then we'll replant through the hands. We'll tuck back toes under to slide left knee to left wrist. And then re-extending those back toes, pressing through the fingertips. And then taking that length forward into our pigeon. And then we'll plant through the palms to slide over onto the left hip. Right leg will swing around. Left foot is on the inside of the right thigh. And we'll turn to face the right foot. Inhaling fingers to the sky, and then exhaling over the right foot. And then walking hands back in, we'll plant the left hand outside of left hip, coming up onto left shin, right fingers reaching to the sky, hips lifting to the sky. A few breaths opening up through front body. And then lowering the hips back down. We'll swing our legs back together. We'll gently lower onto our backs. We will hug right knee in towards the chest. And then taking right knee across the body, extending right arm out by your side. And coming back to center. Extending the right leg, hugging left knee in. And taking left knee across the body, left arm extending in the opposite direction. And then coming back to center, extending both legs. Bringing arms by your sides, palms face up, tucking shoulder blades in, tucking chin in. We'll settle in for a brief Shavasana. If you have more time, of course, you're welcome to stay longer. But I'll let us know when our short little Shavasana is over. if you're ready to continue on with your day, we can bring hands to heart center. Let's take a moment just to drop our awareness into our bodies, noticing how it feels to be you in this moment. And then taking a moment to thank ourselves for doing something kind for our minds and our bodies. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.